Hey everyone, Julie from Julieverse, and I'm coming to you today with a children's literature review. Um, this is about the book Wonder by R.J. Palacio, and I hope I said her name right. Or his, I think it's a her. Anyway, not important. Let me preface this by saying I don't have the cover, otherwise I'd show it to you. I read it on my Kindle, and but I know you've seen it. If you've been in Target in the past 6 months, if you've been in a bookstore, if you've been to the airport, Wonder is there. It's the book with the eye, and it says like Wonder over it, and it makes you wonder. Like you see the cover, and it just catches your eye, and you're like, what? What's that going to be about? And my son, who is now in fourth grade, he's 10 years old, he is an action adventure, sci-fi, fantasy, mythology kind of kid. That's all he reads, and he reads others, but that's what he loves most. So when I first saw this book, I was like, it's supposed to be amazing. I keep seeing and hearing of people reading it, but will he love it? And I wasn't sure. And so I read it first, and then at the end of towards the end of the summer, we were talking about how he was waiting for another book to come out. And I was like, well, I have a book for you to read. And he was like, nah. And I was like, no, it's required reading. And he was like, Mom, I don't have required reading at my school, which totally different issue. But anyway, I said, well, you do now. And he read it, and it took him longer than most books take him. And it took him longer not because he didn't enjoy it, but because it's a different kind of book. It's a novel. It's a story. It's not action-packed. It's not turn the pages so quickly. It's you want to read every single word to get the feeling of it. Okay, so that's my how do you feel when that's my a little bit about the book before you start reading. What you need to know is that Wonder is about a child named Augie. He has a facial deformity that makes him different. It's never fully described. He enters a school for the first time, and he's obviously a new student, and it's about how he reacts as a new student at the school, but even more than that, it's about how the people in his life react to him being a new student at the school. What I mean by that is it focuses on different kids. It focuses on his buddy. It focuses on a friend he makes. It focuses on his parents' perspective. There's a bully, and how he reacts to the bully, and how the bully reacts to him, and how other kids react to the bully. It has a couple chapters focusing on his sister, and which I found this to be so moving on how she is affected and has been affected since he was born, almost taking second chair because there's so much going on with him and so many surgeries and so many concerns that it's like, oh yeah, and the big sister who's doing just fine in school. It's a book about a community that forms around this child and the support, not as much for the child, but for how everyone adapts and changes to something different in their lives. I don't feel like I'm giving this book just the emotion and the strength that it needs right now. I can tell you that having read the book, I was moved, but even more than that, my child who didn't want to read the book at first, he's still, here we are 3 months later, and he's still referring to it. We were talking about something that happened in school, and I was like, how would Augie have responded to that? Because Augie is this really strong character. And then we were talking about something, I think he said something about his brother once, and I was like, Cars, you're being a Julian, and Julian's a bully. And he stopped, and he was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, I am. And it really is a great way to put bullying into perspective, and picking on kids and differences and how people are good on the inside, and inner feelings. The author just did a great job of addressing all these different levels and all these different personalities and how they react when there's a difference in their lives. So I hope I'm encouraging you. I hope I'm telling you just how powerful of a book this is. It's one of those books that I think kids in 4th and 5th and 6th grades just need to have on their list. I wish that our school would require reading. And I wish it would require reading for parents with kids, because this is the kind of book that I think that everyone needs to read. I mean, there's even a parent involved who's a bully, and pushes it onto her child. Oh my gosh. It's a book that needs to be read, and you need to go and download it on your Kindle, get it from the library. It's probably not available. You have to go on the wait list. Go over to the bookstore and buy it. It's a book for your bookshelf that every kid should read, every parent should read. It just gives you a perspective on understanding and on differences and on people and who we are, and who we can be. So that's it. It's called Wonder. It's by R.J. Palacio, and you just need to go read it, okay? Please, and get your kids to read it. Great book.